It is my pleasure next to introduce Steffi Sin. Steffi Sin is currently working on her MFA in creative writing at Arizona State University. And one of my favorite things about the Piper Writers Studio, one of the favorite things about being in this community is seeing all these different people who are in different circles coming together in one place, right? In her creative writing, she examines how people navigate between different cultures and languages while exploring the boundaries between fiction and creative nonfiction. Her work has been published by Hyphen Magazine and is forthcoming in the Kenyon Review and the Los Angeles Review. She is also the nonfiction editor of Hayden's Ferry Review. Lots of reviews. That's a good thing to name a journal. Please join us in welcoming Steffi Sin.
Hi, thank you everyone for being here today. I will start by reading 3 sonnets and then I'll end with a short story. So the first sonnet is called The Single Girl and Her TV Dinner. Do not disturb, have a sock on the door. This TV serial on serial amorous paired with frosted cereal is as riveting as shirtless dance floor hottie begging me to show him the score, if not more. I am no material girl flipping channels for arterial splatter in cold cases. I'm a hardcore procedural junkie with my spiked heels propped on a coffee table, hot toddy soiled with whiskey in my lap. I hold court from my couch, bachelorette crown and feels that go with it, just a buzzed homebody obsessed with TV boys who cut me short. The second one is titled, I Just Don't Want You to Go. We're talking over the movie. Glenn Close would hunt us with a knife too if she knew about your gimmick, flicking lights on cue like she does, on, off, on, looking morose to men who shake their fists, scream, diagnose the crazy bitch, she's got more than one screw loose. But I think maybe she's got a zoo roaming off leash in her mind. It's engrossing, her fatal dose of cleaved attraction. If we'd met on a bright Hollywood set, would you understand why I'd take her side, or at least want to? By now, a fraction of your gut instincts telling you to get away from the mad woman who you've plied. The third one is called How to Be a Slasher Film. I am the bad taste in your mouth. Touch me with a thick, tinkering popsicle stick like a clumsy preteen fumbling, manic to hit the release that will set you free of my bitter dregs. Boy 3, I will be girl scorned, calculating when I should trick you. Have you drink that light paralytic I bought off the black market on 5th Street. I live in the dank basement of your tongue, in the cut fuse, in the car that won't start. I am the coffee stain on your girl's blouse. Red flag, flashback reel, lashing back. You're strung. Where are you, psycho bitch? Be still, my heart. The call is coming from inside the house. And my short story is called Dungeness. It's going to be in the next issue of Kenyon Review. Okay. My grandmother pokes at the crab bathing in a half-inch of sink water. They tried to sell me one that was missing a claw. The nerve of that man. While Paul gloats with distaste. I'm not senile yet. I grab a chopstick from the drying rack to mock and taunt the crab into grabbing the bamboo with its claw. When it does, the crab uses the chopstick to lever itself out of the tub. Gong Gong finds me in a tug of war with a 2-pound crustacean. Legamea, he chuckles as the crab begins to take the upper hand. Then he wraps his hand around its hind legs and drags it onto the scarred chopping board. He holds the knife out to me. I showed you last time. Now you try. I test the weight of Papa's cleaver in my right hand as I try to remember Gong Gong's instructions from 3 months ago. The crab and I stare each other down and it clacks its pincers menacingly. I want to detach the claws first, but I'm supposed to wash the crab. I eye the bottle of dial liquid hand soap. Grab the legs like I just did, Gong Gong instructs me. Push off the top shell. Shouldn't I kill it first? It'll be dead before it hits the wok. I hold the crab over the sink and lean into it as I push at the shell. Crack, legs thrashing, pincers gnashing, nerves frying. The top shell rattles in the sink like a drunken bottle cap. Good girl. My first compliment from Gong Gong in years, and he drops it on me during what he considers housewife training. My family has deluded themselves into believing that if they teach me how to cook, it means I won't end up a gupo. This is really Tanyan, I say. Cruel? He shrugs. Just tear the gills off and clean the guts. As I rinse off the body, I'm grateful crabs don't bleed. Can I do the claws first? When he nods, I take the knife and aim the blade at the soft junction between leg and body. I swing. I miss. Gong Gong laughs. Ha! 你咁冇用㗎, so useless. I hand him the knife. In one fluid motion, he amputates the crab. You try again. I lift the blade, thinking of all the women before me who have used this cleaver. It lands weakly on leg shell. My great-grandmother neglected to pass down her precision. I try again and hit the soft spot, but not hard enough to separate limb from body. As a child who used to trail behind Popo in the kitchen, I'm surprised the blade is not as lethal as it looks. Pahako. I hit the dull top of the blade with the palm of my hand twice. I clench my fist and try it again, but it hurts. Gong Gong reaches over to give it a solid pa and crunch, and then remove the peck and the mouth. I angle the tip of the blade under the triangular flap on the underside and sever it. Did I just castrate a crab? I flip it over and remove the mandibles. Decapitation is less satisfying without a neck. Use a steel wool sponge to tap the dirt from the shell. Get between the joints. While I do that, he scoops a yellow sludge from inside the carapace, the top shell. Your papa loves to eat this with her rice, he tells me. I amputate the rest of the legs from the body and pat them with the flat of the knife to crack the shell enough so that the juices will seep in as it cooks. I cut the soft body down the middle, exposing white meat. Gong Gong shows me how to cut one of the halves into quarters. I finish the remaining half. Behind us, my brother grunts with the conviction of a heavyweight champion as he lifts a 50-pound bag of rice over his shoulders. My brother's in fighting shape to join a fraternity, so we make him do the heavy lifting. My mother waves him over to the empty bucket as if he were landing an airplane blind. Rice spills like torrential hail. Are you two done yet? Papa shakes her pillbox like maracas. It has more squares than a calendar. She's done, Gong Gong grunts. He neatly arranges the crab pieces on a plate back into its original form. He even places the shell back on top before he washes his hands and stumbles to the couch in time for the Hong Kong news. What do you think? I wink at Papa. Am I yo-young now? Am I useful? She pinches my cheek. Yes. Now you can butcher your own crab when you're away at school. You've graduated from shrimp. She squats to retrieve her best walk. It is scratched and older than I am. Papa bought it 2 days after she emigrated to San Francisco, 6 months before the earthquake shook her up in '89. Dang, my father swears. Tao kam soya, Gong Gong murmurs. Who do you think's going to win? On TV, the pink-suited reporter gives updates on the Hong Kong protests. Papa fills the bottom of the wok with a shallow layer of oil and instructs me to coat the crab pieces with flour and egg. Then she sticks a wooden chopstick into the wok and the oil bubbles shyly. Leaving the top shell in a plate, she slides the rest of the crab into the wok. Hand me the mai zao. I open the cabinet above my head and lose myself in the dozens of bottles, all with Chinese labels. I know it's not siyo, that's soy sauce. It's not any of the yao. A nibble of English catches my eye. I hand her the rice wine. She pours it into the wok before double-checking the labels, so I assume it's what she wanted. From the television, I catch the words Si Wei and Choi Loi Dan, and I peer into the living room as the camera pans to graffitied schools and flooded libraries. I ask my father to translate the spray paint profanity, but someone cranks the volume over my words. My mother gestures at the TV set. Your father would have been one of the protesters if he hadn't renounced Hong Kong 30 years ago. Really? I try to picture my father, a bald, round-bellied man with a finger on the trigger of a spray paint can. Yes, and the airline prices are at an all-time low. Do you have the guts to fly back? My brother slows his pedaling on Papa's stationary bike. We're going back? He's only asking because he hates the Hong Kong crowds. I want to ask my father whether he's heard from my ama overseas, but Papa calls for me and I go back into the kitchen. She plates the crab and tells me to take it to the table. It sits on a bed of garlic egg noodles garnished with green onions. She threw the essential ingredients into the wok while her home country was burning and I missed it. Thank you.
Steffi, thank you so much. It is very rarely that I get hungry after a reading and then also kind of upset at my own getting hunger. Those Bachelorette references were incredible too, having a partner that watches that. Thank you so much, Steffi.